Hello and welcome to a Friday Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across that SportsGrid network. It includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination and consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. We are here together on this Friday for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern Time. One final edition of the early line this week to set the stage for a huge weekend ahead. That includes a huge Friday night in NBA playoff action after a rather shocking Thursday night doubleheader in the NBA postseason. More thrilling action on the ice in the Stanley Cup playoffs and a short Thursday slate in Major League Baseball, but a full Friday slate and a weekend ahead on the diamond. So much to get to, DRS, here in these 3 hours, again, up until 11 a.m. Eastern.
All I got to say is, who let the dogs out last night? My goodness, they were barking all over the place. Cleveland wins on the road. The Mavs win on the road. The Rangers win on the road as big underdogs last night. So we got to tee people up for this weekend. And also, if you just want a little bit of what's to come here in a foreshadowing in hour number 3 during the last segment, there's a guy out here that's red hot on a team named the Kansas City Royals, who was hot last night and will be hot again tonight. All affectionately known here, Ben, as the Pasquatch, Vinnie P, baby.
The Pasquatch. I love that. A home run last night for our guy, Vinnie P, out in Anaheim. 3 consecutive games for Vinnie Pasquantino with an RBI. 3 ribs last night against the Halos in Los Angeles. We do. We could probably reach out. I know some people in KC.
Yeah.
Vinnie Pasquantino came up through the AAA affiliate, the Omaha Storm Chasers, who I used to cover when I lived in Nebraska. All right, there we go. I'll reach out to my people. We'll get Vinnie Pasquantino on this show. The Pasquatch is good. How long did you know that you had Pasquatch? Was that like in your pre-show prep?
No. It wasn't. It's not. I can't take credit for this. It was in one of the highlights that it was called. I was like, damn it, this guy is perfect. He is going to be like, if we could sponsor a player in Major League Baseball, it would be Vinnie P. Now, I know some people in South Philadelphia, some good Italians here that might be able to reach out as well to another Italian. So we got a lot of tentacles out here that we could try to get Vinnie on the show.
Everything is connected. All right, now to the NBA playoff recaps from last night. A shocker in Boston. Donnie, frankly, the Celtics refuse to win a Game 2 at home. In fact, they refuse to even lose that game by less than double digits. They get absolutely barnstormed last night in Beantown. 118-94. The Cleveland Cavaliers, as a 13-point road underdog inside TD Garden, win by 24. Of course, it was Boston losing by double digits in their opening round series against Miami in game number 2. The Celtics do the same here in this second game of their second round set against the Cavs.
Kind of crazy that it's sort of mirroring that, round number 1 versus the Miami Heat at home, where the Cavaliers, I don't know if they did anything spectacular. They did shoot 46% from three-point range, but that was only 13 of 28. The Miami Heat dropped 23 three-point shots in game number 2 to win. But this was one of those games where you saw Cleveland in that first quarter, the same way as the first quarter played out in game number 1, but Boston had the lead in game number 1, didn't have it in game number 2. But they erased it, and you see it like, okay, writing's on the wall now. It's even at the break. This is when the Celtics are going to take control. And it was a big third quarter and a big fourth quarter by Cleveland here, which was really impressive. I love this because it gives us more basketball, but you need help from some of your bench players. Karis LeVert, 9 of 17 from the floor, 21 points. That's awesome off of the bench. Look at the plus minus of the starters here for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I was impressed last night and shocked that they picked up a victory that easily.
Every starter scores in double digits for Cleveland, led by Donovan Mitchell once again. 29 points. His points prop closed at 28.5. It was 29.5 when Donnie and I were discussing it yesterday, so Spida barely goes over. A playoff career high out of Evan Mobley as well, 21 points and 10 boards. We'll look at what it means for the series in just a few moments. If it is any aberration on the Celtics here in the second round set, or maybe into the conference finals, or maybe into the NBA finals. The most flawed, perhaps, legitimate contender you could possibly have. Game number 2 in Oklahoma City, and the road team wins outright as a dog as well. The Mavericks behind a banged-up Luka Doncic, but a successful Luka Doncic last night. 29 points for Luka. 29 points for P.J. Washington, also in that starting 5 and Dallas goes into OKC, evens up the series with a 119-110 win over the Thunder. The Mavericks win outright as a 5-point road dog.
I think I said exactly yesterday. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not allowed to score under 27, not allowed to score, I believe, over 33 points. And that's what he got last night, 33 points. You figure that would have been good enough, but also keep in mind, the Dallas Mavericks had 2 starters at 29 points. So what do you say there, Ben? Hey, Luka and Kyrie went off. I said yesterday, my main focus on if the Mavericks wanted to win this basketball game was Kyrie Irving. He scored 9 points, and they still won easily here. The one thing that we knew sooner or later, Luka Doncic was going to get back on track here from three-point land. 5 of 8 from the line. 5 of 8 from behind the arc. P.J. Washington, though, 29 points. That's a great performance. They're back in the series. I didn't see this happening. I thought OKC would win again by close to double digits, but we got a series now in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, apparently.
The Mavs have been an underdog only 3 times here in the postseason, including both of these games against Oklahoma City. They are 2-1, both straight up and against the spread. Plenty more reaction coming around the NBA playoffs your way in just a moment. But for some, the NBA season has already come to a close. Even those playoff teams like the Phoenix Suns, who were swept in 4 games by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now the Suns into the offseason, and they make the expected move yesterday. After only 1 year out in the desert, Frank Vogel has been fired. That not overly surprising, Donnie, but maybe what is the short timeline that Matt Ishbia in Phoenix is hoping to undertake and who they are targeting, former Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah, this wasn't a surprise. I don't think the players were going to move on, and certainly they probably aren't. So the coach had to move on. Whether or not you like Frank Vogel as a coach or think he's quality, that's a high-leverage, high-pressure situation. He knew taking that job going into it, the amount of talent they had, that they were expected to make a deep run in the postseason. That's unacceptable for that much talent to be available in the playoffs, and you get knocked out in round number 1 with a sweep here. Not surprised he got fired. It's just the way it is in the professional ranks, Ben.
2 great games on the ice in the Stanley Cup postseason. The New York Rangers go to Carolina and take a 3-0 series lead over the Hurricanes. The Rangers, the underdog in this series, the underdog in all 3 games, including with the Canes, a -170 home ice favorite yesterday, win another thriller in OT. Artemi Panarin nets the game winner, but our guy Igor Shesterkin continues to stand tall in net. 45 saves yesterday, 40 consecutive postseason games for Shesterkin of allowing 3 goals or less. And the New York Rangers have absolutely stunned the Hurricanes. They have a 3-0 series lead.
No doubt about it. We talked about it coming into this series. Now, the Rangers had the most points in the NHL in the regular season, but teams were telling us here and people, hey, look, Carolina's the better team here. They're favored even though they don't have home ice. Well, now it's 3-0 at this point. We always say the hardest game is that final game to clinch it, but the Rangers in the playoffs have been absolutely spectacular here, Ben.
The Rangers have played 7 postseason games. They have not lost. A perfect 7-0. The Dallas Stars up big yesterday again against the Avs. They jump out to a 4-0 lead, only for Colorado to net 3 unanswered in the third period. Things got a little bit dicey, but an empty netter in the final 60 seconds gives Dallas a 5-3 win. Finally, taking advantage of home ice in the opening 2 games of a series.
Awesome stuff there. And you're right. We looked at one that would have been slipping away, and it wasn't that 5-3 victory. Oh, they won by 2. You're right. They needed an empty net goal just to make it 5-3 and hold them off there. But the Stars get the win at home. They needed that one. 1-1 now.
NBA updates. OG Anunoby with a left hamstring strain has been ruled out for game number 3 tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers a 7-point favorite. And after what Patrick Beverley did when the Bucks season came to a close, he has been suspended 4 games next year by the NBA.